Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you all are having another fantastic day today, and thank you so much for stopping by the channel. In today's video, we'll be diving into Google's Firebase Authentication. Why Firebase, you ask? Well, because Firebase makes it super easy to install, super easy to incorporate into your apps, and it's easy to learn. With all that said, it's super powerful, and it has so many features that you can add in your different kinds of applications, from iOS to Android, even to web apps. So Firebase Auth makes it easy to add secure sign-ins to your app using methods like email and password, Google sign-in, GitHub sign-ins, Facebook sign-ins, even Twitter or X sign-ins. So if you're ready to boost your app security and integrate Firebase Auth with React, get those fingers ready. Let's get started. So one of the first things that we are going to do is we are going to head on over to firebase.google.com. And this is how their homepage looks like for Google's Firebase product. Looks pretty cool. I've kept up with their UI, and they've honestly have done a pretty good job in keeping it simple yet effective, in my opinion. So if you haven't done so already, please feel free to create an sign up. It's free. And if you do already have an account, you can just go ahead and log in. After you log in, it should take you directly, if I'm not mistaken, to the console. And in the event, if it doesn't, if it takes you to their homepage here, you can just go ahead on the top right here where it says go to console and just click there. And that should just take you directly to the console, as you can see here. And this is what the console looks like. It's just going to have your recent projects and then all of your Firebase projects as well. So the next thing that we're going to do here is we are going to add a project. So on the left hand side here, on the first card, we're going to click on where it has the plus button here, this whole card. Just click it and it should prompt you to enter your project name. And this is going to be step 1 of 3. And go ahead and name it anything you like. Make it fun, make it boring, make it simple, whatever you do decide. For this tutorial, we'll just make it Firebase tutorial, just like that. And then right at the bottom here, you're just going to hit the continue button. And then in step 2 of 3 in the next prompt, it'll just ask about Google Analytics for your Firebase project. And it'll already be enabled, but you can just go ahead and just toggle that off. You can always have that added afterwards, which is what I like about Google's Firebase here. So once you have that toggled off, you can just go ahead and create the project here. So just click on the button. And this should take a few seconds, probably at most a minute, but normally it's a few seconds just to prepare the project here. Perfect. I really like that animation too, that it just that I just showed there as well. So the next thing that we're gonna do here is it's gonna tell you your Firebase project is ready. So you can just go ahead and click on the continue button, and that should take you directly to your project dashboard. And it's going to look something like this. I really enjoyed their dashboard as well. The colors just pop out to me. They really did a good job on that also. But so this is going to be your project dashboard, where you can get started by adding your Firebase to your app. And what you choose just depends on the type of application that you're looking to use. If it's an iOS app, you click here. If it's an Android app, you click here. If it's a web app, then you click here. So for this tutorial, we'll just use web app, and we'll just click on here. So it'll take you to this prompt here where it's asking you to register your a nickname for your app. And once again, make it fun, make it anything that you like. For this one, we're just going to keep it simple, and we'll name it Firebase Tutorial. And right underneath, you have this checkbox here, which is also setting up Firebase hosting. And not to worry, you can do that afterwards as well, which is, again, that's why I like about using Firebase, because you don't have to add this right now. You can always add it later on. So once you have the Firebase tutorial or the nickname, you can just click on register app, and that'll take literally a few seconds depending on your speed, and it'll give you the Firebase SDK. As you can see, it just got onto the page right here. And these are the instructions on how to install Firebase. into the terminal of your project, as well as the SDKs that's needed. And that's going to be the next step here. So the next step that we're going to do is we're going to take our information here from Firebase, our Firebase SDK, and we are going to pretty much put it into our React app. So if you go ahead and open Visual Studio Code, I already have it opened here under a Firebase tutorial folder, and then I created the React app as Firebase-tut or tutorial. So now that we have this, what we're going to do here is we're going to do a few things. We are just going to create a folder for our pages. And we're going to have our homepage.js, home.js, and we're just going to type in RFCE. That way we can just get the template here for our function. And then we're going to say login.js, create another file for our login.js page, and then RFCE as well. And then lastly, we are going to do the same thing, but this time we are just going to make it for our signup.js page, and then RFCE once again for the template. So there you have it. We have our pages with our home page, login page, and sign up page. Now, the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to make our firebase.js file, which has to go inside of the source folder. So we just create the file, and then we're going to say firebase.js like this. So the next step here is going to be just in terminal npm install Firebase, and that's what we're going to do now. I already have it installed, but I'll just install it once again here, and it'll take a few seconds to install. So once it finishes installing, the next thing you're going to do is just copy right here and then paste it inside of your firebase.js file. So and let me just take this away here and minimize it. And just for security purposes, if you're making a React app or any type of application and you're using your Firebase SDK, please definitely put it inside of a .env folder. That way it's not exposed there. If you're gonna be deploying the project as well. But for this tutorial, I'm just gonna let it out here. I am going to delete this project once it's up. But once again, just for tutorial purposes, just going to have it here. But please definitely 100% be secure and just hide it as well. So the next thing that we are going to do is set it up. And the way we set it up is, since we're using the authentication, the Firebase authentication, we are just going to, up top here, import it. So we're going to say import, and then brackets, get auth from Firebase, and then /auth, just like that. And then the next thing that we're going to do is right underneath this const app, this initialize Firebase, just make a comment as well, and then just make it Firebase Auth. That way you don't get confused and it gets more, it's more organized. So right underneath your comment there, what we're going to do here is just say const auth equals get auth app, just like this. So we're initializing the get auth app inside of this variable, this auth variable. And lastly, we're just on the bottom, we're just going to say export auth in curly brackets. And then if Firebase also does have its authentication, its real-time messaging or cloud, real-time cloud, as well as their Firestore DB database. If you want to use those, you can definitely use those, and every time you want to use those, you just import it, and then just don't forget to add them inside of the export as well. If not, then you'll get a whole bunch of errors, and it's just going to be having to go back and forth. Okay, so now that we have this, the next part is we're just going to start on our home login and sign up page. But let's just go to the home page and we'll just make this right here. Actually, we actually don't need the home page. Thinking about it. But I'll just say h1 just like this, and to say home page, and then we'll just create actually we don't need a home page, to be honest, but I'll just leave that there for now. RFCE there. Okay, so we can just go ahead, and I don't know why I thought we needed a home page. I'm so used to everything having a home page, but for this tutorial it's not using the home page here. So we'll just go to the sign up here. So the first thing that we're going to do here is just import everything that we're going to use, which is import auth, because remember we're using the authentication from the Firebase SDK. So we're going to use auth from, and then just put in where it's located, and it's located in Firebase, just like that. So now that you have that, what we're going to use is import, and we're going to use this as well, called create user with email and password, and it's going to be from Firebase Auth as well, as you can see. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are just going to use our use state hook here, and we're just going to import it at the top as well, and then leave some space, and then right underneath the function sign up, that's where we're going to define our hook. So we're going to say email set email equals use state, and then with parentheses inside. So the next one we're going to do is const, the same, but this time is going to be for password, and then we're going to say set password equals use state, and then parentheses also. The next thing that we're going to do here is just create the handle sign up. And basically the handle sign up is for when the user clicks on the sign up finishes filling out the form for the sign up, they click on the submit button or sign up button, and it'll be the function that fires off what the next steps to do. Basically taking the information and bringing it over to Firebase, or sending it over to Firebase. That way the account can be created. So what we're going to do here is I will just type it out first, and then I'll explain it afterwards here. So we're just going to say const handle sign up equals async e for the event, passing in the event, and then we're going to just say e dot prevent default, and then parentheses like that. Now we just underneath it we're going to say try, and then we're going to say const user credential equals await create password with email, create with email and password, since that's what we're using right here, create user with email and password. Okay, so once you have that, open parentheses, and you're going to say auth email and then password, just like that. Oops, auth there. So right underneath it, the line underneath it, we're just going to console.log it. That way we can just make sure that it is going through user signed up, like that. And now afterwards we will just say user credential dot user, and then the last thing here, we're going to make the catch for the error, and then we're going to console.log console the error as well. So error signing up, and then let's have it just say back an error, just like this. So basically, once again, what we're having here is we're making a function to handle the sign up. So when the user fills out the form, you know, the email and the password, they hit the sign up button or the submit button, we're going to have that fire off the function or start the function to fire off the information, take that information that's inside of the forms and ship it off to Firebase Authentication. So what it's basically saying is we're taking the event, we're passing in the event, and then the e.prevent default, which is not allowing the normal reaction to like entering the submit button is for the page to reload. We're not going to have that, so that we're just preventing the page to not reload here. And then for the try, we're going to make it into a variable user credential. For the email, we're going to pass in the email, the auth, the email, and the password. So we're putting this all into the user credential. And then for the console log, we just want to see if it works, and we're going to say user signed up, and then user credential, and then the username or the user there. And then of course, just always make sure you have a catch in order to catch any errors here. Awesome. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and just make the sign up form. So we'll just this, oops, bottom here. Okay, and then we'll just make that to an H2, make sign up, and then we'll make a form right underneath it like this. And then underneath it we'll have an input and then another input here. We'll have another input, two inputs here. So for the first one, just make a comment. It could be for the email, and then for the second one, you can make a comment for the password. Okay, so now what we're going to do here is we're just going to finish off inputting like the value, what we're going to be taking from these two fields here. So for the first one, we're going to make it a type. Actually, just make it on a separate line here. We're going to make a type, and we're going to say email because that's what we're going to be grabbing from the form there. And then the value as well, it's going to be email also because we're going to be taking the email value as a value. And then we're going to make an on change as well here, in which we'll be taking the event and then just setting it into the email, set email use state hook there. So we're going to say e.target.value. So we're taking the event, and then whatever input, whatever value is in the input field for the email, we're taking that off, and then we're just going to place it into this set email right here. Okay. So next thing is we'll just add a placeholder. I forgot to add the placeholder, and we'll just say that it is email. So we're going to do the same thing, but for the bottom, for the password as here. So we're going to say type, and then it's going to be the password. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to ask for the value, which is going to be the password as well. And then on change, on change, there we go. On change, we're going to do the same thing as well. But except instead of using set email, we're going to use set password. So then we're going to say e.target.value because we're taking that value that's inside of that input, whatever it is. And once on submit, we're going to put it into this set password use state hook here, there. And then lastly, we're just going to have a placeholder for the email. Oh, and let me just show it up here. Sorry guys, I forgot to npm start. So if you want to just start up your environment there, you can do so. And let's just have that for the moment. Let it load. Okay, awesome. So I'm not gonna have anything there. So we'll just go back to the app.js file, and then we'll just here, and we'll just add the sign up, and then we'll also add the login like this. Perfect. And then we'll just go back to the sign up, And then we'll just finish it off with adding a button. That way the user can click on the button and they can submit the form. So right after the input password, you're just gonna make a comment and we'll say button here. So we'll use a button. And then for the button, we'll just say sign up. Perfect. So now that we have that, the next thing that we're going to do is just make sure that we input what we want the form and the buttons to do, right? So when we go to the form, we're going to make an on submit, just like this, and then we're going to say handle sign up. And remember, the handle sign up is coming from this function here. So everything that's on this form, including the email and the password, once it is filled out and the user clicks on the sign up button, we want this to happen, this function to fire off, to send all of the information to Firebase. That way it can create the account using the email and the password. Right? So now that we have that, the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to finish off with the button here, and then we're going to say button, and then we're going to say type submit, because it's a submit button. We want it to submit something. Awesome. So that's for the sign up. So that looks pretty much done here. So the next thing that we are going to do is go to the login, and we'll do the same thing as well. So for the login, we'll use import auth from /Firebase, because that's where we had it inside of our source folder. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to import. In this case, we're not going to import create user with email and password, because we already have that for our sign up. It's going to be similar, but we're going to be using sign in with email and password, like this, from Firebase /auth. All right. And then next thing is just don't forget to include the useState hook import as well. And then it's going to be basically the same thing as we have here. So we're going to just have some space, and we're going to say const email set email equals use state, and in parentheses. And then we're going to do the same thing, const for the bottom for the password set password equals use state, and then parentheses, just like that. And now we're going to do the same thing as we did. Let me just take this out here and minimize it. So now we're going to do the same thing as we did with the handle sign up, but we're going to make a handle login. So we're going to say const handle login, like that. And it's going to be very similar to handle sign up. Handle login, and then equals async event. And then we are just finishing off the function there. So we're going to say e.prevent default with the parentheses. And now underneath it, we're going to make the try, in which we're going to say const user credential again. The time is equals await. Sign in with email and password. Remember, email and password we're getting from here, since that's what we're going to be using. Okay. And then in parentheses, we're going to add in the auth, email, and password. Just like that. So the next thing that we're going to do, of course, we want to see that it works. And so we're just going to console.log it. And then we're going to say user logged in. And then, user logged in. Okay, just like that. And then parentheses, and not parentheses, and a comma. And then you can do, you can add in user credential dot user. and it should show the user there as well. And just to finish off, of course, make the catch with the error so it can catch any errors. And then we're gonna console.log that error as well. And then we are just gonna say error logging in. Okay, and then just give us the error, just like that. Okay, now what we want to do is just erase that and then make an H2 as well for the login. Perfect. So now this is where we do the same as we did with the sign up here for the form. So we're going to say form, and inside the form we're going to have two inputs, one for the email and one for the password as well. So it's going to be a self-enclosing tag, and we can just go ahead and copy and paste that here. Perfect. And then once again, just like to make everything with comments, so we'll just say this is login email, and then login password. Awesome. So now we can do the same thing as we did before, which is inside of the input, we'll just add in the type, in which is an email, and then the value that we'll be taking in it is going to be the email as well. And then for the on change, we'll be taking the event that is passed, and we'll be sending that into our set email use state here. So we'll say as well set email, and then e.target.value. And then lastly, we'll just make a placeholder as well. So we'll say email, like that. Perfect, guys. So the next thing that we're going to do here is we are also going to be doing the same thing, but for the password as well. So we'll do that on the bottom line here, and we'll say type is equal to password. The value is also going to be password. And then the on change is also going to be taking the event, and then whatever event is in the password field, once the submit button is clicked on, it's going to be sending it right to its respective field. So it's going to be, as you can see, the email is being sent to the set email. This is going to be set to the set password. Like this. And now lastly, we are going to just make a placeholder, and then we're going to say password, just like this. And then just like we did here for the on submit for the form, we're going to do the same thing here for the login. So on submit for the form, we're going to say on submit, and then we're going to just take this handle log. So we're going to be handle log function just to fire off once the submit button is clicked. And then speaking of buttons, we're going to make the button as well, and then we are going to say login here. And then lastly, for the button type, we're going to say submit. Awesome, just like that, guys. And there we pretty much have it. So the next thing that we're going to do, it's pretty much one of the last things that we're going to do here, is go back to the Firebase tutorial project here, and this is what we left off. So the next thing that you want to go is just go to continue to console, and then you're gonna go to build here on the left hand side, and then you're gonna choose authentication, the third one here. So we're gonna choose authentication. This will just change up a bit, and it'll show you this is what I really like about Firebase, because it gives you all of the documents and everything, that even a video on how to what it is and how to use it as well. So in order to use it, don't forget to click on get started here. Right, so we click on get started, and then just let that go through. Perfect. So then now it's going to be asking what type of sign-in methods you're looking to have added. So you can just use email, password. You can just use your phone number anonymously, or you can add these additional providers: Google, Facebook, your Twitter account, GitHub, etc., etc. But for this tutorial, we'll just be using the email and password. So we'll just click there, and then enable email and password. and then we'll just have it saved just like this. So now if you go to users, it'll be nothing there yet, but then once you sign up, it should be automatically it should be automatically showing you the information of that user that signed up. So let's go and try it out. So since we are console logging the sign up and the login, we'll just go to inspect here, and then console. Do I have on? I just want to make sure. On change. Okay, cool. So we'll just go ahead here, and I like to just have everything go perfect. So we'll just say hello@hello.com. Oh, sorry, email. You see, that's why it's good to just check your work there. So for email, we're just going to change that for the password for the placeholder. Perfect. So now we can just go hello@hello.com, and then you just name anything. So we'll just say password. Right, so hit sign up. It should. Perfect. So you see it's actually working here. User sign up, and it'll give you all of the information here, which is awesome. All of the metadata for that user there. So if we go ahead and just go back to the Firebase tutorial console, and once we reload the page, we should be seeing the user's credentials there. And look at that, guys. There you have it. You have the hello@hello.com, and then with the user ID here. Perfect. So now let's just see if it works when we sign up, right? So we'll just go ahead and sign up. So we'll say hello@hello.com, and then enter the password, which was password. And lastly, we'll just hit login, and we should get user logged in. Look at that, guys. So now we're pretty much up and running, as you can see. And let's just add one more thing here. We'll just add another one just to make sure that it is working correctly. So we'll just hello@hello.com. You can just say buy@buy.com, right? And then password, make it anything you want, password. So we'll just say sign up, see if it signs up. Perfect, user signed up. So everything looks to be working perfectly, and just go back here, reload the page. And look at that, guys, buyandbuy.com. I know I'm not very entertaining with these names, but they're working. And then lastly, we'll say buy@buy.com for the login, and then password. We hit login, and we should see user logged in, guys. Perfect. Look at that, guys. So there you have it. This is pretty much everything that we needed to go through for the authentication. So once again, just remember, for your SDKs, it goes inside of a folder. You create a folder called firebase.js that goes inside of the source folder, and then you can just copy and paste it there. And then if you need it, because I know sometimes it's not going to show up there, you can just go to, I believe it was project settings, and then it'll be down here on the first tab, on the general tab here, and then you can just copy and paste it from here as well. So you copy and paste that here, and just don't forget also to import the get auth as well as the export here, and the Firebase Auth here, initializing it. All right, guys, there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and the next one should be hopefully soon, the next video, and it'll be another continuation of the Firebase, but this time it'll be using the Firebase database, in which is where you can use Firebase's database for anything that you want to add in, like user credentials. You want to add in like any type of information that you want to collect from your users. It's so great to use. So that would most likely be the next video here, and I can't wait to get started on that, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give a like or a thumbs up. Subscribe if you found it very educational, if you found it very helpful. And till next time, guys, see you later. Thank you so much.